Well, hello. If I'm talking to you, it must be Wednesday. So welcome to Engagement. Um, I'm Doug Robbins. I'm a wedding officiant, a celebrant. I'm an event guy, all around curious individual, and welcome to Engagement. So engagement, what is it all about? So people say, well, Doug, you're a wedding officiant. Is engagement about, putting the ring on the finger? Is it all about weddings? And, I don't want to do that again, or I want to do that again, or for the first time. No, engagement, although we do talk about weddings and marriage, and we do have a master series around that. I encourage you to look at that on YouTube. We engagement in the dictionary says, coming together to have a meeting, to talk, to engage in conversation. And that's what we do. And I'm a very curious individual who loves to talk to people and love to find out more about what they do and why they do things. And so I started a channel because, frankly, I can. And it's COVID and we're all stuck at home, and Doug needs something to do. So engagement came about, and it's been a lot of fun. We talked to a lot of people. Our first series was all around a master series for weddings, being true to myself. And then we followed it up with a phenomenal female series. And then someone who was on our channel reached out to me and said, did you know about these two sisters? They're both very entrepreneurial, both very creative, and they come from Chatham, Kent. And I have a connection because I know both of them. So, of course, I reached out and bringing to you today two entrepreneurial sisters that I'd love to have this conversation with. So get close, sit down, and enjoy the conversation. We're about to talk with Cyndi Prince and Jackie Prince Kennedy. So let's bring them on in here.
Hi.
Hey. How we doing?
Great. Good.
So Cyndi, you are out in Maine.
I am. I'm in Camden, Maine, right on the coast. It's funny. The weather is probably identical there, so it's always funny. We get it just like a day late. So now we have the rain that you guys just had.
Perfect. So we just send you our weather then, basically.
And I appreciate the heads up.
Yeah. And Jackie, you both of you are from Chatham originally, Chatham, Kent.
Well, I was born in Michigan.
Michigan
Born, Buxton.
But we adopted you.
Yes, Buxton raised.
In like the arms of the Statue of Liberty, that lovely lady, and we made you one of our own. What? Oh.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Don't you miss hugging?
Yes. That's my biggest thing. And especially, it's almost better that we're separated from family and friends, because that's how we greet each other in Buxton, is a big hug and a kiss for everyone. So it's really hard to get out of that habit, even if you see each other at a distance, to stay at a distance and not want to just go in and hug everyone.
Absolutely. So you're from Michigan, but you came here early in life, and we made you an Ontarian, a Chathamite,
a Buxtonite.
A Buxtonite. I was heading that way. I was digging down. So you guys are both from here. I mean, inherently, and you've gone off to do some great things. Jackie, you're not actually in Chatham, Kent any longer, but you're just in the neighboring county.
Yes, I'm in Leamington. We moved here 2 years ago.
Yeah,
to be closer to Chris's family.
Nice. So I was very curious to find out that you guys are both very entrepreneurial, because of the fact that you both have a creative gene. You both have an entrepreneurial gene, and I found that really, really interesting, because it had to come from somewhere. I mean, I'm assuming that either somewhere in your DNA, somewhere in your background, somewhere in your upbringing, someone said, hey, check this out. You can probably do this. So is that how it happened? We'll start with Jackie again.
I would say I get my creativity from my mother. She was always creative. She said she's not, but she was always, when I was growing up, I remember her, crocheting little snowflakes for the Christmas tree, or, taking all kinds of classes in different crafts and baking and that sort of thing. So she's always been very creative, and whatever she was doing, I wanted to learn how to do too. So, you know, back in the 70s when macrame was big, if she was doing it, I was right beside her learning how to do it. She taught me how to crochet, taught me how to sew. So, yeah, I think I picked, you know, the creativity up from her.
So shout out to Betty.
Yes.
Betty's awesome. Very stylish always. That lady.
Always.
Stylish. So in macrame, just you mentioned macrame. Macrame is making a comeback.
Yep.
Big time.
Believe it or not. Yeah.
You know, not just the I think in my day it was mostly the plant hangers and that sort of thing, but now they're, you know, doing these massive wall hangings and that sort of thing.
There's also a lot of wearable macrame. I mean, the bikinis.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Can't forget those.
What? Bikinis?
Bikinis, yes. They had two-piece bathing suits for, yeah.
I don't recall those.
You've blocked it out. Hey, Cyndi, where did you get your creative juices from?
Well, it's definitely from Jackie and from Mom. I'm always that quiet observer, so watching them make their own clothes and all the other creative things that they would do, I think that it was just always in our house. And I loved, and Jackie will always tell me this, I loved going to the craft store and picking out, it would just be something different every time or something of the same, but any kind of project that I would be interested in, I would try. And always like just a constant in our lives, I think. And even at Sunday school, I remember with Aunt Joyce and making all the different crafts there. And that was exciting to me. And that was like that part of Sunday school that I absolutely loved when we got to make something. So I think it was just always there. We were raised with it.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, yeah, there was a time back in, shout out to Joyce out there in Buxton, who was always in charge of the Sunday school. You know, they would keep things like egg cartons or toilet rolls, and they'd find ways to craft that into something that was creative and economical at the same time. So Jackie, you are what we would call an upcycler.
Yes,
so
definitely an upcycler.
This is what Jackie had to say about recycling versus upcycle. That, you know, recycling is taking the product that you've already had and used and turn it into something else or back to its own natural state. Where upcycling is really more creative. It's really more, I think it's really more innovative. It's a lot harder to upcycle than it is to recycle, right? Because anyone can throw a recyclable item out and it goes to a plant somewhere and they chip it or turn it into something else. Yes. But when you take something and you look at it and go, well, this could have a different life as something else.
Yes. And I think we're seeing it a lot more now because even, you know, I do it with fabrics and textiles and beads and baubles and vintage jewelry, but you see a lot of people. Yes. Yeah. And that's a vintage bracelet around some lace that I got at a thrift store. But you see it a lot now with people that instead of getting rid of old furniture or outdated furniture, they'll repaint it. They'll change the knobs. They'll, just to make it more current and that they can live with it and not have to trash it or, it ends up in a landfill somewhere.
Well, I was raised to understand that everything old is new again, right?
Yes.
There was a time when bell bottoms were cool back in the day,
and they're back. They're back.
So I mean, we're I think by nature, a lot of us are upcyclers just by nature of fashion.
Yes.
And it's evolution, right? So you make a lot of unique products, Jackie. So here's a couple more that I want to show off. This here. Really cute. What was that before it became a purse?
That was a curtain.
Nice. I
love going to probably my favorite thrifting place is Value Village. And I typically I don't go to the material remnant section first. I'll go to curtains, duvets, sheet sets, pillowcase, thing, like that's what I just look for fabric. If I see a pattern or a fabric I like, then I just grab it and bring it here, wash it, and then think of something to do with it later. But fabric is fabric, because I've even taken, like, say, a sweatshirt that I saw that I like. It didn't fit me. I just like the material. So I come home and I cut it up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Here's another cool one.
Mm-hmm.
Curtain as well.
Pardon me? Oh yeah, that's the same one, isn't it? I think it was.
Oh, that's right. This is open.
Yeah.
And this is closed. Yes.
Yes.
This one here, beautiful fabric.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's Value Village. And, yeah. A blanket. I think the pattern part in the front is a blanket, and then the back part is a curtain.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And this
a curtain, sari fabric, because for some reason at the Value Village here in Leamington, sometimes they just get tons of different sari fabrics, and they're beautiful, like embellished and the beading sometimes and the different colors, and so it's almost like a chiffon almost. So I like playing with that as embellishment. Yeah.
Very cool. And then one more here.
Oh, that's my hippie purse. I love hippie stuff too. I don't know what it is. The older I get, I love hippie stuff. So the love, peace, braid jeans. I love that.
Well, I know one of your favorite sayings is love, peace, and soul.
Soul.
So when it comes to this, I don't know if you know this, but and I have proclaimed this, so I own this. The fanny pack, the fanny pack is the new COVID accessory, right? Because when you go to a store, you need to have a place for your mask, if you have hand sanitizer, your phone, your wallet, and summertime we were in shorts. We don't have as many pockets, or we're not wearing a coat. So you heard it here first. The fanny pack is the new COVID accessory, and not everyone can do this, but I do this. I actually have a couple of Merce, man bag, whatever you want to call it.
Our stepfather does too, Bev. Yeah. And
you put that stuff in there. You got your phone. You got your hands. Everything you need in your on you, as opposed to dragging down your shorts. Because if there's one thing we need to do away with, it's those pants that just don't cover your butt.
Don't even go there.
Don't even. So you heard it here first. Go get your Merce.
Yeah.
So now, not to be outdone, the other very creative sister.
More.
So I was trolling through your page, and I saw that the theme that you love, fabrics, textile, and especially wool. There was a shot. I think you had this long natural braid of wool, and I thought, wow, that's it's really neat. Like you take that and you go, okay, how am I gonna make that? How am I gonna turn that into something? We're gonna talk about your big product, but do you do other things with wool?
We do make the wool dryer balls, and then we started to make a dog toy, the tug toy, which is the braided one, which is the one that you probably saw. But those are the two main products that we've made with wool. We've tried other things over the years, but those are the ones that have really stuck.
So the tug tool, I don't have a picture of it, but it's like a braid of wool. How durable is that? Like there are dogs that are power chewers, right? That will tear and chew up something, fiercely. So does it last a long time? Is it if they swallow it, is it okay for them?
I think it's always dependent on the dog. Yeah. It's a natural fabric, so it's 100% wool. So it's not like they're swallowing plastic or something like that. But what we do is we braid it and then we felt it. And so as soon as you felt wool, it binds onto itself and it makes it super durable. But it's, again, like there's so many toys that will always claim to be indestructible, but there's always those dogs that are like, challenge accepted. So I think that we've had so many people that are so grateful for this all natural pet toy for their pets. And so I think it's been very, very well received, which has been a lot of fun.
Speaking of well received, this product has been extremely well received in your dryer balls.
Yeah.
So, and every time I say balls, there's definitely a giggle. Sorry. No one said I was mature.
I thought that was just for buns.
Well, you know, I giggle at pretty much everything.
Yeah.
So, the balls, which are phenomenal. Like, this is a great gift pack with the balls in there. Tell us about the balls. Like, what are they're designed obviously to go in your dryer to make things dry evenly and probably fluffier than usual, and maybe they put off a nice scent in your dryer.
Well, these are unscented, but they are essentially made to replace a dryer sheet or fabric softener. So you just toss them into your dryer, you toss in several, and they'll naturally soften your clothes. Just that action, the tumbling of the balls against your clothes will help soften it up. And then also, since it's going to create better airflow and circulation, you reduce your dry time as well. And so there's a lot of just different benefits to using them. And I think the biggest one, though, is that you get to get rid of all those chemicals. Because a lot of people aren't really familiar with how much those products have so many chemicals that are so harmful to ourselves and then also to the environment. And so it's one of those things where you can eliminate a ton of harmful chemicals from your home by just making that really simple switch to this reusable product that you can just keep using over and over again, and still have soft clothes. Because I think that that's the one thing that people would be reluctant about getting rid of dryer sheets for. So
absolutely. I mean, you expect your dryer to do a certain thing, and I think we're somewhat programmed and regular to go and buy that off the shelf, and you replenish it, or you tell Alexa you need more of it, and she puts it on your grocery list. All of those things typically happen. So it's really cool to have something that is sustainable and natural, and frankly, you've got some very attractive balls. I mean, there's. I'm reminded of that Saturday Night Live skit when they talked about the sweaty balls. Everybody loves my sweaty balls. So I'll try and make sure. So
don't.
The big crescendo for you right now, and I know it's just one of many crescendos for you, because you're fantastic. You've got a long ways to go, and you'll do some great things. Is that you're right now? You've heard of 6 degrees of separation. You're like 3 degrees of separation to Oprah. I mean, for me right now, myself being a huge Oprah fan, when I was in Chicago the very first time, I found my way to her. Yeah, I was a lot younger and a lot thinner.
Oh, wow.
We walked. It was basically a half marathon there and back. We walked, my wife and I, on our anniversary to the studios, and I walked around the building going, Oprah, please, Doug. Because I know if we met, we'd be best friends, guaranteed. So I kept yelling, Oprah. So I said, just take a picture of me, just one. And she reluctantly sort of held up the camera, took it, and that we were done. So, but I mean, that's pretty phenomenal that you've been tapped on the shoulder by the Oprah magazine, and the announcement looked like this, that you were in her healthy living guide, which I think is phenomenal, right?
Yeah, that was the second time we were in Oprah.
Wow, 2 times.
So that was the time when they went digital. And so we were on there. That's the digital platform when they started it this year. And then last year, we were also in the printed magazine for the April edition.
Nice.
And it came out, and I'll tell you this, it came out on March 13th. It was in my mailbox. And March 13th is like doomsday in a sense, where it was the last day my son went to school in person that year. It was the day that the US basically started to really shut down. And so it was one of those things, like one of the greatest moments. I'm sitting there with the magazine in my hand at the mailbox going, oh my God, this is amazing. But the world is just crumbling around me. So I just kind of sat on it for so long where I'm like, it's out. There was nothing in me, or there was just so much happening that it was kind of a sad celebration of something so amazing that happened.
Very bittersweet. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So here's the item in the actual digital. So there's your balls. Right there, along with some incredible looking blueberry waffles. I mean, that's got to be incredible. I mean, I only heard about you being in there once. Being in there twice is epic. I mean, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, and honestly, like since day one, I think it has been on the list, the big vision board of being in Oprah magazine. So for it to finally happen, right, like at year 9, I think it was for us, like it was really just an incredible thing. And I will tell you as well, and I'm not sure if I should share this with you, but I actually did meet Oprah. So, so when you were asking about the Oprah thing, I'm like, which one?
Oh, you actually met Oprah? Okay, I got to hear about this. How did that happen? Where did it happen? And
it was,
what were you wearing? And what was she wearing?
So many great questions. So let's start with she was coming here to Maine because of her book club, her most recent book club. The one book that she was reviewing was Elizabeth Strout's Olive Again. And she was coming here because it's set in Maine. The author, I think, is originally from Maine. And so she was hosting it here in Maine. And I didn't know anything about this, like that she was coming and anything. And a friend, like one of the people that works for me, she's my social media person. She's like, I heard from another friend that they're looking for audience members for her book club and they want a diverse audience. And I'm not sure if you're aware, but Maine is one of the whitest states in and so like there's not going to be too many emails that will go around where you actually end up like getting the email. And it came at such a busy time. So at the end of the year, my busiest time, like to the point where I do not surface until like about the end of January, end of February, straight out busy, which is wonderful. But it was going to happen like in the middle of the beginning of December or something like that. Busiest time. And I already swore that I would not take on anything else in my schedule at all, because I have to put boundaries and limits on there, because if not, it gets crazy. Then of course this comes up. I'm like, there's always exceptions to the rule. So I apply and I got an email back and they just basically said, we're looking forward to having you there. And so it was really surreal. We had to meet at a hotel about an hour and a half away from here. Got bused to this other location, and the location is like, it feels like there's security. We had to relinquish our phones and all this other stuff. And so we go in and we're within this restaurant setting. They wanted it to be there because that's where the author likes to go and write. And so it was beautiful and just a neat thing. And of course it was great meeting all the other people there too. But sitting down, like you had all your assigned seats, and then all of a sudden you hear her voice in the background, and she's like coming through the crowd, and then like they actually had me right up in front, which you can see on Apple TV if you ever go back through and see her book club things. But afterwards she socialized with everybody, and she sat there and held my hand for so long, and of course like I couldn't verbalize a lot of like, wanting to say, but she just held my hand the whole time, and there was 3 of us talking to her at once, and she was just asking us how long we had been in Maine, and she's still just holding my hand, and I'm just like, oh my God, like this is like one of those moments where I'm like, okay, just try to breathe, just take it in, just
did you just hold your hand like this for another month or so and not wash it, put a paper bag over it, and yeah.
I got home and I was just like, cloud 9, because like these things don't happen every day. And this one just kind of tumbled into my lap, where other people are like, oh, I tried to apply, I tried to get into that, and I was like, I just kind of sent an email and they said yes, and they're like, and we have a front row seat for you, so make sure, like, you just want to make sure that you're going to show up. I'm like, of course I'm going to show up.
Yeah.
So it was very very surreal.
That is incredible. And does she know the connection about your balls being in her magazines?
No, so it was so funny. They contacted me from the magazine just after that happened, which I was like, when you're still like in this, just beaming from the whole experience. And shortly after they said, we're thinking about featuring you in the magazine in a few months. Can you submit some things then? And I was just like, oh my gosh, I was just met Oprah, and, like typing this email going, yes, of course, I'll send you whatever samples you want. So wonderful.
And we are so proud of her. Like, it's just, but the thing is, Cyndi has always been so humble and, doesn't come out with all of these great things all the time. To be like a week later, it's like, oh, did I tell you, or a month later, did I tell you I met Oprah?
No.
Did I tell you I'm going to be in the Met?
Come on.
Oh my God. But it's like, oh my God, you know it. But she's, well, I forgot to mention that, and it's all these big things. And then she's been in People magazine now too for her dog toy. So, and then American Kennel Club, she'll be in that too.
I saw that, and I saw you've been in Style.
Yes.
And Parents, and yeah.
She's just a force to be reckoned with.
Force to be reckoned with. Well, that's incredible.
So proud of her.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's phenomenal. Now, if we're obviously in Canada, do you ship to Canada?
I do. It's just like so expensive to get it across the border, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. But with my family discount and all, I'm sure it's really good.
Hey, Doug, I had to buy 3 more balls. Mom has a small supply with her, and she would not release those 3 balls until I provided a receipt that I had paid through Cyndi's website. Then she released the balls. So you want to talk about family discount? I didn't get no family discount.
Well,
I saved on shipping, but that's about it.
Betty does a hard bargain.
Betty, right? It's not me. She's
Where's your receipt?
Yeah.
Or it's the receipt.
Sure, I want proof. Well, that's phenomenal. I mean, not every day do you hear of anyone local, let alone, short of Meghan and Harry, meeting Oprah more than once. So that's incredible. I mean, you must have just been walking on like air for months afterwards.
Yeah, it was a really surreal experience. I think it still is when you think about it.
It is. So you have a team that you don't do this alone. You're not sitting there at nighttime crocheting dog treats or braiding dog treats or molding balls.
But Doug, I have to say she started that way. And when she first had this idea and was first making the balls, so this would be almost 10 years ago, my mom, myself, and my aunt drove to Cyndi's for a few days. I think we were there 5 or 6 days. And so we were helping her make these balls. And we had kind of a production thing going. So one of us is winding the wool, the other one's putting them to be felted. And I got fired. Because
I'm shocked about it. I figured if anyone could handle a set of balls, it'd be you, Jackie.
Oh.
With all due respect.
Oh, yeah. All due respect. But we're sitting there watching TV and winding these balls and winding the balls. And Cyndi she just took mine. She never says much, just took it and looked at it. And it's like, your tension's not right. Maybe you should try a different job. And she put it away. It's like, wow, she's tough and free labor. And I got fired.
Well,
yeah.
It's not for everybody.
So yeah, at the beginning it was, everybody doing it by hand at the house. And then
wow, that's incredible. Now how does it work?
I have a few people that work for me remotely for social media, my writer, things like that. And then I have local people that help me wind the balls and make them. So it's always just kind of piecing it together, even though it still is a home-based business. So everything is still shipped out of the house, and it's still I'm still really involved in it, and I'd love to actually have more help just to different aspects of the business. It would be really nice just to be able to do that. It's hard though when it's in your home.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you live, eat, and breathe it. It's right there. So, well, that's awesome. That's phenomenal. I didn't send you this question. I did send you some questions just sort of to preamble and get you ready for this. But I'm going to ask it anyway. So hang on. If you could invite one person to your home for dinner, dead or alive, who would it be? And I'm going to let Cyndi go first.
Oh, I'm still in the hot seat. Okay. Let's see. I always have a list of strong, amazing women that I would always love to run into at some point. And Oprah was, of course, on there. So I'll go down my list then, and I think the next one would be Michelle Obama.
Nice.
I think she's just phenomenal, and I think she's just such a strong, incredible woman. And I think it would be great to have a conversation with, sit down and have a meal with her. Oh my God, I think that would be amazing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe get her and Oprah together.
See, that's maybe that'll be on my list now too.
Hey, you can have them wine balls. You know, dinner's done. While you're sitting here, Oprah, just wine some more. Right? You can charge more for them. They won't know which one's Oprah's. They can just pay a little extra.
Yeah. So you can sell it as Oprah touched these balls.
Oprah touched.
Let me write this down. Yeah.
You can watch on the replay later on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie.
There'd be a lot of people. Of course, family would be first, like ancestors, family and stuff. But I think somebody current, I would have to go with AOC. I just love her. Like, she just seems always so polished. And, you know, when she has something to say, people listen. And I think, you know, because she gets so many personal threats and that sort of thing is because she is so effective. I think others against her are afraid of her, but she's eloquent. Like, she's got her shit together, and I just love her. Right. So I think I'd like to, and because of her, you know, always for social justice, and I like those kind of people too. Like, it's the energy, I think, and I've just always admired her.
Neat. Cool. All right. Well, ladies, you know, it's been a delight talking to you guys. You guys are a lot of fun to talk to, and it's great to hear the stories, and I'm floored now about the whole Oprah thing, and I'll be looking for my man bag made by repurposed by Jackie. It's been a good day. A good day. So check us out on YouTube and Facebook if you want to watch us over and over again, or share it with your friends, because, you know, quite frankly, it's always a fun conversation over here at Engagement. So we'll talk to you guys soon, and we'll see you hopefully next week. So tune in then.